I'm Holly Bullman. I work with Land of Sky Regional Council. I do a variety of recycling services for our local governments, and I serve the city of Asheville, Buncombe County, Madison County, Henderson County, and Transylvania County. And I've been working with all those local governments for a couple of years now on the school recycling efforts. And so I'm going to share with you some of the lessons we've learned over the years, things that worked, things that didn't. And I guess I assume that most of you here are either from local government or teachers in the school system, or maybe even decision makers in the school system. So I guess I'm going to speak about what we've learned and what works, and how you can really increase participation with your programs. Just a little brief history about how we got started. In the Land of Sky region, we started working with who we identified as the key stakeholders of school recycling are the school authorities, such as the superintendent, associate superintendent, the local solid waste departments, solid waste directors, recycling coordinators, sanitation directors in some communities, the solid waste and recycling haulers. In our area, it was GDS and curbside management. You might have waste management as some of your service providers, or Allied Waste, etc. And the Keep America Beautiful affiliate, because they do a lot of outreach and education and beautification for our area as well. So we kind of deemed those as the stakeholders, and we got everybody together, and Land of Sky sort of served as the lead facilitator, meeting convener, and took all the notes and just made sure that we were kind of on task and continuously exploring how to do school recycling successfully. And at first we brought together Asheville City Schools, Buncombe County Schools, and Transylvania County Schools, and the reason being was because we looked to who could we bring the farthest with the least amount of effort. Asheville City Schools already had a lot of school recycling efforts going on. Buncombe County and Transylvania County shared the same hauler, so we thought, well, let's work with these guys first. And the message that we got, I would anticipate, is probably the same message that you would hear across the state, is that while school recycling is a wonderful idea, it gets the kids involved, and it's getting kids involved with something environmentally positive and giving them a leadership opportunity. However, there's no funding. And we just don't have, recycling is just not a priority for funding. And that may or may not be true for your community, but I'd say cost is always one of the biggest challenges. So we realized that we needed to find a cost-effective answer to be able to provide school recycling in our schools. And I would probably guess that would be similar for many of you. So getting started, what did we do? As I mentioned, we met with the key players at the school system, particularly the associate superintendent. You might have a director of business services. That was true for Transylvania County. And the maintenance director for Henderson County. But we met with them, and we discussed, what's your interest? What are the opportunities? Are there any current school recycling activities going on? And what we heard a lot of times might be true for you too. A key sort of grassroots organized effort where a key teacher was leading it, or a group, maybe a parent-teacher association was leading it. And there were some things going on there. We also got a copy of the solid waste contract. We wanted to review what services the schools were actually supposed to receive from their haulers. And we did some on-site waste assessments, took a look at how much volume, how many times they were getting solid waste picked up a week, and did they have any recycling pickups. Many of the schools actually had cardboard recycling as well in their services. And we were looking at first for a way to fund the recycling bins and rolling carts. That was our first big obstacle, because the capital outlay for bins, for example, for Buncombe County and Asheville City, was about $25,000, and we applied for a community waste reduction and recycling grant with Kelly and Trina and Ellen's office, the state recycling office, for funding. So the collection services. So the other big thing that you're looking for in funding your program would be for the bins and then for the collection service. And the options that you probably be looking at are a private hauler, a company that's dedicated to just recycling services, or a solid waste hauler, and you might have an opportunity to kind of piggyback your recycling program onto the existing contract with the solid waste hauler. Service learning programs might be a great way. We're lucky enough to have Warren Wilson's service learning program here in Western North Carolina, and actually Jessica and I were just talking about maybe a way to get them involved. To work with also the local government. Many times local governments might provide solid waste collection and recycling services. So there's a possibility there. I know our folks here in Madison County that are here with us today provide the recycling collection for the schools. So that's another option. And then, and I even have established schools as convenience center sites. This is from an old presentation, and I think I was even talking to somebody about it last night. It's such a great idea, but your schools are probably going to be concerned about safety and people coming in and out. So even though we looked at that at first, it's probably not a good idea to look at convenience center sites for your community. But just get creative. If there's any other ideas, there might be some other ways that you can get the material off-site and to a recycler. So in setting up the program, of course, you need to get the right bins and carts. You want to get the right equipment for the job. And what we opted to do was, as you see this, oh gosh, where is he? Maybe Owen High School here in Buncombe County. He's standing holding a 14-gallon bin, and those are two 95-gallon rolling carts beside him. And you can get 12, 14, 16-gallon classroom bins. Most of those are available on state contract. I actually believe that it may be the 16-gallon one that's on state contract. Anywho, you can find out for sure. There's also the typical kind of industry standard is 35, 65, or 95-gallon rolling carts. And those really help to transport the material. Like you're talking about having a bin in every classroom to collect paper, and then using a rolling cart to either go door to door, maybe, and pick up on the way, and then transport those carts to the outside so that you can transport all the material to either a dumpster or a collection point. Sometimes the carts themselves serve as the collection point for whoever is picking up the material for you. Let's see. So, I guess you see the importance of that. You don't want students lugging around bags of paper. They're going to break. It's just not going to work. So the carts really go a long way to make sure that there's no heavy lifting going on. So some of those materials are available on state contract. I'd encourage you, of course, many times the school's purchasing office will need to go through state contract, so you do have that option. And then also underneath, there's a small desk side bin. I believe those are like $2, maybe 15 cents on state contract. They're very inexpensive. Those work well for the school offices, so you might want to pick up a few of those. The bins are a little bulky for your front of house office. And then I've also pictured, I believe that's a 35-gallon round recycling container. Those are analogous to, you've seen the gray sort of brute containers that have dollies on the bottom. Those are very similar to those. So if your school already has, your custodial division already has those kinds of trash cans that they're rolling around, you can get a couple of those, use the dolly that you've already got, and then those become wheeled carts. And those are a little cheaper than the 95-gallon carts. I think the 95-gallon carts might run upwards of $50, and these round brute containers are maybe like $15, $20. So they're pretty affordable. You might want to look at those options as well.